Tectone's career is over and his life is ruined. And I love absolutely every second of this. I told you that this is gonna happen. I told you that this is only a matter of time. And next up, Asmongold, obviously. Oh boy, I love being always right. And the funniest part is, the situation is so bad. Mizkif, of all people, unholy Mizkif, actually has the moral high ground for once. Imagine, you're in a moral dilemma against Mizkif, and he somehow comes out on top. That is sadly extremely impressive.
Mizkif is claiming that he sent someone to listen to and write down and take notes at the trial, or I guess hearing, to extend a protective order against Tectone from his ex-girlfriend, Pinkchu. I do sometimes refer to Pinkchu as his ex-wife. I apologize. She is not.
No one's marrying Tectone because the microtone allegations are probably 100% real without question.
Not his ex-wife, just ex-girlfriend. He already had issues with a previous ex-wife, which gets brought up, and that's where I got mixed up. This is a civil case. Apparently, we will be getting the transcripts going public live in regard to this case.
Also, in before, some absolute idiot in the comment section writes the greatest comment banger of their life. Oh, this is authentic. Yes, it is. Does that magically make what he did right, do you think? No, and he lost. And he lost. This is insanity.
Very soon, but Mizkif has been dropping some potential bombs.
So stop protecting weirdos in my comment sections, please. Everyone is looking at you and laughing because, I mean, watching Twitch streamers already is pretty sad. But you actually taking your time to protect them is even sadder.
Shells in regard to that case about the fact that Tectone has lost, and some very, very interesting details in there. Things like Tectone being forced to pay all legal fees that his ex had incurred over the time of this, as well as a gun ban, a protective order. Also, almost forgot, Mizkif shows alleged proof that Tectone has been view-botting, and he has, like, actually—
All the big streamers are view-botters. We didn't need proof for this. Everyone with a brain already knew this, and knew this is 100% true. This is true for every single streamer. Without question. Name me a streamer, they're a view-botter, 100%. Not that this actually, it is a justification for why why doing it is good. It's not, obviously. But still, this is nothing new.
Receipts for the view bots, which again we'll get into. Now keep in mind, this is Mizkif we're talking about. This guy minces his words a lot. I would not take everything he is saying here as scripture. We're going to be looking at it as it's coming out and the public stuff is out, and we'll be able to compare the two. But Miz, as you may know, has a track record of not being the most reliable guy with how he shares information and ideas. But he has been—
well, in that sense, no one has been amongst the streamers.
Bringing some interesting receipts, and to forge this entire transcript that he had someone taking down would be very interesting, and doing a lot of effort for a payout that would just result in more public backlash to him. And also a potential defamation lawsuit.
Oh no, if Mizkif is making any of this up, he is getting sued harder than Asmongold, okay? He is absolutely gone out of this world. And Mizkif may not be a smart individual. Those two brain cells fighting for third place definitely prove it. But at the same time, I definitely think he's smart enough to understand that he cannot lie about these things. So I don't think he's gonna lie about these things, because lying will get him nowhere, and he is smart enough to understand. Now granted, when the lying actually will get him results, then we can question this. But currently, I think we can trust Mizkif. Also, if we couldn't trust Mizkif, Tectone would have already come out and said things. Asmongold would have already come out and said things. By the way, Asmongold promised us that he's gonna clear the air if any lies are being made. Now, granted, that's just another typical Asmongold lie, because he lies about everything also. But you know, those are options. Maybe it happens.
From Tectone himself, so he really is not incentivized to be super deceitful here. Additionally, towards the end of this video, I'm going to be covering the transcripts that I had screenshotted from Mizkif, going over this, that being his notepad that he had written out, and we're going to read some of that just separate to Mizkif reading it off to try to make sense of some other points in regard to Tectone and some allegations that came out against him in the court hearing. And last thing before we jump in, we are 1,500 subs short of 100,000. If you're new here, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed. And
Don't.
one. And thank you for watching. Now, I've went ahead and done my best to order this in a way that I think you'd find interesting, and I've only included the clips that I found to be the most interesting or providing some information. Some of them just seem to be at Mizkif's benefit, where he just kind of wanted to shove some stuff in the face of Tectone and thinking he's weird. So I'm just going to keep it to the main stuff. So starting off here, Mizkif claims Tectone lost the court case with Pinkchu today and has to pay all her legal fees on top of a restraining order.
I want to make sure that I have it properly. But these are factual things. Tectone went to court today, and he lost the court case for sexual assault against Pinkchu. He lost. He lost the court case. It was civil. Tectone lost the court case, and Tectone has to pay all of her legal fees for the past 2 years. Tectone got a restraining order on him months ago.
So very big claims, obviously, you know, losing the court case, having to pay all those lawyer fees and having a restraining order placed against him. Now, obviously, these are very big claims, not a lot other than Mizkif saying it. Of course, we'll be able to verify this when the public transcripts come out. But additionally, Tectone is not
I can't wait. There's going to be so much good probably in that.
reacting to this in the way that you would expect him to, given who he is as a content creator, and also given if you were being lied about in regard to a court case you won and people are saying you lost it.
I mean, the fact that Mythic Talent literally just sacked him probably tells you literally everything that you need to know about this. Obviously, Mythic Talent is saying, oh, we actually initiated the procedure to terminate him like a year ago. Yes, because termination takes that long, because surely. Now, technically, they're smart enough, at least Mythic Talent is smart enough, to technically not lie. Because keep in mind, in this situation, you need to understand what the words began the process of termination mean, in a legal sense, and it means literally nothing. Began the process of termination is literally two guys, maybe over a cup of coffee, saying, what if we got rid of Tectone? That actually constitutes as completely on zero lies and legally protected. So, there you go. This is how you lie properly, by twisting the truth.
Or the details of it, how you would respond to that. It wouldn't be like this. He says on Twitter, just for clarity's sake, yeah, I'll be talking about everything when I get back to streaming. Just gotta finish a couple more things, don't worry. And then following that up with, will be addressed with the elephant in the Sahara.
Surely.
In the room. Now that was his one message talking about it. The other tweets that he's put out have not been talking about any of this at all, while all of this has been blowing up on LSF, things like that. For those who don't know, Tectone is a YouTuber, mainly streamer. From my understanding, he's on Twitch, Kick, everything here, and he covers political stuff. He's really turned into just talking about politics for last couple of years, I guess, maybe the last 2 years. And he also talks commentary drama stuff, as you can see, Iron Mouse, Nina Lynn, etc. He was also part of OTK, or Mythic Talent, past tense, was. Now, strangely enough, yesterday, Mythic Talent ended up putting out a post here. We have terminated our relationship with...
Oh, I did not think he was actually going to cover this.
Tectone. Several months ago, we initiated our separation process, and recently, coincidentally, we have finalized his departure. Now, keep in mind, this was like around the same time that Mizkif was streaming yesterday, or just a little bit beforehand, where he ends up leaking even more information in regard to this trial. But I figure if it ends up being true that he lost it, all this stuff, that Mythic probably would have known about that, being that they had a relationship with Tectone. And so it kind of makes sense, and it's interesting that they are coming out and saying it now that they have absolutely terminated their relationship. Just kind of is lining everything up. Continuing on though, another post from LSF here. Mizkif claims that the judge ordered Tectone to delete content of Pinkchu from his phone or face criminal charges. Now again, the reason he has this is he apparently sent someone to listen in and write down notes during this last hearing. And so he had somebody apparently transcribing as much as they could, over 7 hours worth of notes, to give information about what was going on.
Pink was abused and sexually assaulted, and she won her court case yesterday. She didn't just win her court case. All legal things have to be paid for, and Tectone has to have a 10-year protective order. That means that Tectone cannot have guns. He cannot have weapons in his house. That's why he deleted his tweet yesterday. He can't have weapons, period. Also, what he had in his phone was so damning and disgusting about Pinkchu that he was ordered by the court to delete it immediately or he'll be tried for criminal charges.
So damn.
Yes, and the reason for this is because I don't. Well, maybe it actually shows the video. But the reason for this is why the court ordered this deletion, because Tectone was using that as blackmail.
10-year protective order, that's pretty intense, and that does kind of line up. There was a photo Tectone had posted holding a firearm, and if this firearm ban is true, it would make sense that he had deleted that picture. And this is that part where I'm like, take what Mizkif is saying with a grain of salt here in regard to them trying him for criminal charges and forcing him to delete the media that he had of Pinkchu.
That's not what he said. He said if he doesn't delete this, he will be facing criminal charges. So that's... Birds hard, I guess.
On his phone. This could be true, but this could also be, you know, Mizkif's "the fish was this big" story and kind of inflating what they're actually meaning by telling him to delete this stuff. It may just be that he was required to delete this stuff regardless. And moving on, this is where some of the, you know...
Are you stupid? If the court orders you to do something and you don't, you are contempt against the court, which I think is a literal felony. In any case, that has jail time. So, if the court says you must delete this, if he refused, they would actually probably put him in prison because that is in contempt of court, of a court order or whatever, I guess. So, I don't understand what's not understand about this. Why are we having this strange confusion?
Transcript stuff and notes start to get a bit bizarre, and I just mean even just describing these events. Apparently, Tectone admits in court to using a whiteboard to manipulate Pinkchu over consent issues. Now again, the title is a bit misleading. That's not exactly what he's saying. He didn't admit to manipulating Pinkchu, just admitting to using the whiteboard, and I'll just let the clip play here.
Just wait, chat. Okay, but that's not true. You actually would sit her down with a whiteboard and go over everything to convince her that she was wrong. I'm feeling to see how this...
That's what Tectone meme with the whiteboard originates from. I saw it, but I didn't understand.
Connect, but I don't understand what you, in regard, we've talked about with the whiteboard. And you would sit down with her with the whiteboard, and whatever position she was taking, you were all disagreeing on, correct? If we were having an argument and not seeing eye to eye, and we weren't seeing eye to eye, visual aid really helped her, as well as to me. This dude would pull out a whiteboard to explain why she is wrong about consensual, non-consensual.
Now, you might have heard him talking about this, like, consent thing or non-consensual whatnot, and this is what he's referring to. He doesn't read it out loud because this is just the clip. It looks like the person talking to Tectone, you know, the person that's going to be questioning him, says, "So isn't that the problem, Tectone, that she views what you did as non-consensual and you just don't see it that way?" And Tectone apparently responded, "I think if I was ever informed a single time that was wrong, I would immediately say, well, then let's not do it, to be completely honest." Person questioning him responds, "Okay, but that's not true. You actually would sit her down with a whiteboard and go over everything to convince her that she was wrong."
Yeah, I was gonna say, of course, completely honest. Surely Mr. Liar is gonna be completely honest.
Right? Tech says, "I'm failing to see how these two connect, but I don't understand what you and what..."
Well, to be absolutely fair, I mean, Tectone is not smart, so there you go.
Regard, we have talked with a whiteboard. It's a bit muddled here. The questioner says, "Yeah, and you would sit her down with a whiteboard in whatever position she was taking that you all were disagreeing on, correct?" Tech responds, "If we were to have an argument and not seeing eye to eye and we weren't seeing eye to eye, visual aid really helped her as well as her to me." So that's true. That's fucking insane. Are you, to your spouse, your partner, they're not agreeing with you and you feel so correct that you wheel out a whiteboard to explain your side? And it doesn't look like from here that Tech...
I sometimes do love and enjoy some good drama.
Tech is specifically saying that in regard to non-consent, that he argued about it and pulled out a whiteboard. They were just pressing him on, well, you know, the times that you did disagree, you've claimed that you actually whip out a whiteboard instead of just saying, okay, let's not do things. If I whipped out a whiteboard to make an argument against my wife or any of my friends around me, I would not have a wife and I would be friendless. That ends up being true or that gets corroborated. I'm very interested to see the full transcript because obviously there's a bit of, you know, muddled text here and it's clear that this person was typing and trying their best to keep up. But if that's even partly true, Wow. So next up is a very interesting piece. We've kind of seen it before when creators get canceled that they kind of do like a hard pivot. Similar to like Dr. Disrespect. He went very deeply political when the allegations came out against him with...
When the allegations came out against him, Asmongold also said about him that nothing bad happened.
You know, texting that minor through Twitch's whisper stuff. He kind of like really heel turned into being like a very right-wing dude. And I think if we have any old fans of Tectone or anything, again, I haven't really kept up with him and I didn't really watch him before he got very political, but apparently around the time that he got accused of this and started, you know, this court battle, even just a couple years ago, it seemed like he hard pivoted into doing political commentary. And I guess I really shouldn't say seemed, he did do that. And he actually apparently makes mention of this and said that it was intentional.
He brought up Hassan Abi saying like how when he shocked his dog, he literally admitted that he had to switch his content and go after creators like a...
You see what I mean? These people are evil. We'll win when they lose. Imagine Hassan shocking your dog is not good enough for you to talk. You're doing it not because it's the wrong thing to do, obviously. You're doing it because that's money.
Hassan Abi shocking his dog in court.
He actually brought it up too. That is the I was like, what the fuck is this?
They talked about a lot about how he would used to record her without her permission, and how he would threaten to leak those as the big nukes if she didn't recede her claims about him. The judge said he better delete all videos and pictures that he has of her.
So I want to read out more of this from this clip here. So down here it says he defended his rants by saying, when a content creator in our space gets these accusations, they have to pivot content to stay relevant. And then this person is saying that he brought up Hassan, saying like how when he shocked his dog. And this is kind of in lieu of like that political shift where he starts going after Hassan and starts talking more right-wing stuff. Hassan obviously like a pretty left-leaning guy from what I understand. Again, I don't dabble, so apologies. Now this is that main claim, which again I find interesting, and I'd love to go over the
Surely, you don't know anything, surely.
transcripts, because if it's even more, you know, specific than that, I'd love to know, because that would kind of be, you know, just him just straight up admitting, yeah, I switched content genres to stay relevant. He switched to political just to stay afloat during this time when he got accused. But continuing on and kind of referring back to some of the earlier stuff we talked about, they talked a lot about how he used to record her without her permission and how he threatened to leak those as the big nukes if she didn't recede her claims about him. The judge said he better delete any and all videos and pictures he might still have of her. So this would make sense as to
Yes, this was this thing previously.
why the judge wanted to have those deleted. And it also would support this theory about there actually being criminal charges, you know, threatened to be pursued if he didn't. This, I mean, This would be
Yes.
textbook blackmail. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about that one, because like for me, it's just hearing someone say that. And again, time will tell when we have like a confirmed, you know, authentic transcript from the court hearing. If that is what he said, or even close to verbatim what he said, that would be for me the first time that we've seen a content creator just kind of full stop admit, yeah, I switched to like diving into this thing just to, you know, keep views up, keep relevant, and avoid being canceled. It's just very interesting, the difference between, you know, seeing it happen versus admitting to the fact that you consciously made that decision. Now, one of the last clips I want to show you guys before we get into just reading the notes that Mizkif had.
Oh yeah, I saw this one. This one was also hilarious. Tectone prepared for his lawsuit for 15 minutes and got like 2 tweets. That is probably, honestly, the funniest thing about all of this. If that is true, it's like, oh yeah, Tectone. Oh yeah. I'm glad you became a streamer because I would not want you to mess up my drive-thru order because God knows you would. God knows you would. In any case, that was Quintian, 10 out of 10. Bye.